Hola Madrid, this is welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. I must say, it feels like a fucking funeral. You know, it is just me alone today, unfortunately or fortunately, because it'll be rather short, rather blunt. Um, Before we get to this, I got to actually, big up the chat, big up everyone, every single one of you for actually, turning up to this post match. Post match that neither us or you guys, nobody wants to hear about it, but here we are. We gotta do what we do. Like we gotta show our project some justice. That's the only reason I'm here. But quickly through the comments, Yadu, if you're listening, that is the great. Says only Vinny should have his head high after today's performance. Man, I was fuming, so angry. I felt like throwing stuff, especially when Ancelotti put on Mariano and Lunin, sell him in the summer. Well, there are a lot of performances that I would personally like to spotlight today, and Lunin. I'll tell you, Lunin and Mariano are the least of our worries, man. I don't know why you're started off all guns blazing on those two guys, because they haven't had a part to play this season at all. Like Lunin, yes, maybe for like 3, 4 games here and there, but that's about it. Um, Hassan says we got cooked. My God, yes, absolutely. There is not a shadow of doubt in me. To the extent the humiliation was in City Light's home stadium tonight. Let's get it right. They were City Light. If City Light can do this to us when we are not on our game, although yeah, without Benzema and whatnot, but still, man, it's absolutely fucking shocking. I've got no words. See, I've been supporting my team for over the past 15 years or so, and this is up there with one of the worst performances that I've seen. No words. Lol says, I want to hear zero excuses. Video turned off. Oh, my video turned off. Just give me a second. Um, right. Is it okay now? Yeah, though I'm not sure. Right. I hope it's okay now. Is it yeah, fixed now? Right. Okay. Um lol was saying I want to hear zero excuses. It happened again. Turned off again. Oh. Um just give me a moment. I guess it's back on. Maybe it turns off when the Meets app, I guess, gets minimized. But lol was saying, I want to hear zero excuses for Rodrigo and Asensio tonight. They left. We need to fight on his own. See, Rodrigo is my guy, yeah. And I've been his biggest fan out there for all the time that he has been with us. He has shown tremendous character, touch poised to actually, take on the mantle and be one of the leading frontliners for arguably definitely the biggest club in the world. And yeah, man, him tonight was shocking. Rodrigo 2 out of 10, and that is just me being biased. Asensio, um, nothing much to say, but yeah, like he turned up. Got to thank him for that. That assist. Without those couple of goals, we look like a League One side. So for putting some effort in the game and actually saving some faith, I'm gonna actually, big up Asensio, man. Unfortunately, um, right. Quickly, Ashik is back again. He says, "Well, that didn't go quite according to plan, but the La Liga season is a done deal. Focus should be on the Champions League and Copa del Rey." See, that's the thing, man. I guess the team bus, the entire fucking team bus, had the same attitude. The season is over. Um, we should rather focus on better fish to fry at this moment in time, and that for me is just unacceptable because we still are fighting on all fronts except of course La Liga. But in order for the momentum to continue, in order for consistency to fall back into place. A result like this sets us back like at least a good month in a preparation for the final like phase of the season, especially with City looming. I don't know what this mean for the confidence of these players. I know we had Benzema, who was a huge miss, who basically dictates how we turn up for a given night. Like with all that, man, I just can't accept this performance. I'll tell you. I've been never, so spellbound by what I was watching today. Guys like Militao, man, like if he could just take a cab from the touchline back to the hotel, he would have done that. Honestly, that is the sort of vibes that I got from, supposedly the best centre back in Europe. But yeah, the less said, the better. Dennis the Great was saying, I knew we wouldn't win today, but man, that was fucking embarrassing. We let Castellano score four against us. Castellano, an MLS reject, you can say, if you want to. Um, but he is actually a loanee from New York City FC. And boy, oh boy, he, I think, grabbed a good, lucrative deal to a better club by, tonight's performance alone. And yeah, man, the first poker scored on us since fucking Robert Lewandowski. And I was there. I was watching the game as a fucking 15-year-old, like pulling my hairs out watching that. But I could accept that it was Lewandowski who was in fine form and also someone who was kind of household, if you know what I mean. Not exactly like he is today, but Lewandowski was still a big, big name. And he put us to the sword that night. But tonight, Girona, I have no words, man. I have no words. No words at all. Just more, Pahua says, as a neutral, I'm laughing, but I want to hear your feedback as well, to be honest. Just more, I guess tonight would be a good night for you, man, honestly. If you want to grab a cup for all the tears that I'm going to fucking spill on this particular post match, you should be drinking fine and well. Hassan says, we need a reliable backup striker this summer, 1000%. When you see Mariano warming up and coming about, you could just sit and just rub your eyes and just look again to make sure if this is Real Madrid or like fucking Stoke City FC. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Ashik B says it still is no excuse for the players not to show some bite. They should show some character. This isn't a pub league club. Yeah, facts. That's the thing, man. That's why the thumbnail for this particular post match says zero fucks given. Zero fucks given, man. Yeah, we can throw in the towel. Mentally, we have thrown in the towel, yeah, but it shouldn't be reflective of the performance that these guys put up, man. Like, that is just unacceptable. Like, we are defending a fucking holy crest. Yeah, we are defending in fact, the most prestigious crest in all of football. And this is not the way, man. This is not the way. Unfortunately, this is such a bad look, especially for that man who is hoping that he gets, maybe a truckload of chiclets for him to chew to, relieve the stress. I don't know if he still smokes, Carlo, but yeah, man, if he still smokes, he should be getting like a couple of extra packs for tonight. Right. Dennis the Great says Militao had his worst performance of the season. Militao, man, I have no words. I've honestly tried my best to contemplate what I was watching. 5 yards square passes was completely misplaced. Body language, just the ease with how he was moving didn't suggest to me that he was having a bad night. Maybe that might be confidence. Maybe that might be the traits of an elite player. But as a fan that has actually grown up watching so much of the old school football, when I see my team in absolute bits after 60 odd minutes, I would like to see my leaders. Yeah, like Militao was one of the leaders, in the dressing room. My leaders to actually roll up their sleeves and get dirty, man. Honestly, just get stuck in, make it as difficult as possible. Don't try any fancy stuff. When it's 0-0, when it's a goal down, it's fine. when you're 3 goal down, I should see some urgency from a playing 11, man. Like when you don't see that urgency, you just really wonder how much do they care about a win away at Girona. And that's shocking. Girona has the best record against us than anyone in Spanish top flight history. That is just insane. Fucking Girona, you know. Girona, a club that is supposedly run by Guardiola's brother. They must be opening, you know, like plenty of champagne tonight. 6 matches out of the 6 matches, they have won three. Uh, we have only won two, and there was one single draw. So at this moment in time, Girona has a number, man. I just can't imagine it. I just can't imagine that I'm saying these words. Honestly, I've always respected Girona for what they are. They're not a club that, you know, parks the bus and plays fucking anti football. You know, they always like actually make a go for it. So yeah, man, big up Girona tonight. Completely outclassed, outthought, outplayed. You know, just shambolic all in all. Um, Danielson says, "What a dismal performance from our team tonight. We were very terrible, mate. 100% agree. Like I'm still trying to, you know, like gather my thoughts and kind of make a sensible analysis of what just unfolded. But I don't think I'll be possible to tonight, especially alone. I'll try my best though. Dennis the Great was saying Rodrigo today was shocking. Hassan, oh, Hassan was mentioning about my camera. Thanks, man. Dennis the Great was saying only Vinny was decent today. Everyone else was a disgrace. Yeah, Vinicius, what was it? I had jotted it down. 39th goal contribution this season. Man has been doing his bit, man. Not gonna lie, I was kind of annoyed at how he was getting antagonized yet again. But in all fairness, like you could understand a bit of, you know, his side coming into tonight's game because the refereeing was absolutely mental. You know, like I don't know how these guys are on the payroll, man. These guys actually need to be put through like a couple more um, rigorous testing schemes to actually, you know, test if they're fucking sane. Because some of the decisions that they were giving Girona, yeah, I understand. You know, like Girona being the home side, obviously the ref is going to be a little partial. That's the way of football, yeah. Like, but still, some of the decisions couldn't understand that there was a tackle on Vinicius, which arguably would have been a red if we looked at it, just because it was outside the, you know, penalty box. They didn't give a fuck, man. But that's how some days are, you know. Like everything that you think of would never go our way, you know. Like tonight was that kind of night, you know. Right. My video is frozen. I don't know why it happens, man. Honestly, something is up with meets. Right. Some more of the comments. Dennis Ogate was saying, Rodrigo today was shocking. Yeah. I can't defend him. I can't defend those kind of performances. Yes, he was outside. He was played outside his, you know, comfort zone. Um, People were calling for, you know, like Rodrigo to be striker when he was linking up, play well and whatnot early parts of the season, just playing just behind Benzema. And even for a few games when Benzema was out, he was doing his thing. But I told you guys from back then itself, you know, like I respect Rodrigo. I like his trade, but he is never gonna be a striker. He's not that kind of guy, you know, like he likes to invert and whatnot, but he's better off being a winger than someone playing as the focal point. He can't be, man. Unfortunately. Just Point Pahua says, I know I shouldn't um, single out a player, but I said last week that Militao is inconsistent when you said that he's the best centre back in the world. Just Point Pahua, the main concern of mine was always Militao's inconsistency. Given that he is still relatively young, I'm not going to make Trent Alexander level or Trent Alexander Arnold levels of excuses for my man. But Militao has been fairly consistent. There is a reason why in big games that we have played so far, especially the second part of the season, he has been imperious, man. Like he has been on point. I guess considering that it's Militao, I would just give him a bit of leeway for tonight. The other guy, the other centre back, I've lost all hope. Like get this man out of my club, man. Honestly, like yes, Militao had a 0 or a 1 out of 10, but honestly, Rudiger being a 3 doesn't make much of a difference. Honestly, Militao can actually go from 9, 10s, 8s to 1. It's fine, but Rudiger from 6s, 5s to 3, 2, 4. Really? Why is nobody talking about him? I don't get it. First goal. What was he doing? What is Rudiger doing? He gets attracted to the ball. Yes. In a normal situation, when you know there's someone better um, aerially equipped than Cruz is behind you, you can get attracted to the ball and try to close the first man down. Yeah. But when it's Cruz trying to be the guy to cover Castellanos for the first goal, you should just stick to your position. Show him out wide. Let Lunin deal with the shot if it comes in. Like I have no idea why Rudiger needs to, rush out of his position. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I'm not a football tactical, but sometimes I think, honestly, like I've said on many occasions, Rudiger being the part of the back four makes our back four less consistent, cohesive. You can call it what you want. It just doesn't look the same. When Alaba slots in, everybody looks fucking on point. I think even for Nacho getting skinned on the third goal, I think it's Rudiger. I think it is a consequence of Rudiger being in there, man. Like I have nothing against the man. When he was on his way to the Bernabeu, I still remember last year I was one of his fiercest defenders on this panel, mentioning the very fact that Rudiger is a guy that can add so much to a defense. Yes, he has um, a relative um, tendency to only walk in a 3 at the back formation and whatnot. But I always thought, like our club, the way our team actually, helps any player who's coming in to adjust, set in. It just hasn't happened. Maybe it's the first year syndrome. Hopefully it gets better, but at this point it doesn't look good. Dennis the Great was saying, I see us dropping more points and Athletic finishing above us. I repeat, we must end the season on a high. Yeah. Thank God that Atleti lost earlier in the week. But that's just about it. Like the last time I took at the fucking La Liga table was ages ago. I was a different man then. I'll tell you that. It has been that long. Lol was saying, man, maybe Militao not playing against City is a blessing. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's a blessing, honestly. You guys are just having fickle memory. He is our best defender. He is top 2, or if not on his day, number 1 in Spain, arguably top 3 in Europe. So one performance doesn't put a blemish on Militao's splendid season. I'm not going to slate him, honestly. I want to slate him, but I'm just going to let this slide. Girona can take this, like have the best night out, of their lives and whatnot. But for me, Militao has so much credit in the bank, fortunately for him. Right. Um, Danielson was saying, "Come on, guys, Madrid is not an Arsenal-like team. We can't be given our focus on a single competition. We are Real Madrid." Yeah, I mean, we needn't even say that out loud. Mo is back. He says, "Summer clear out and upgrade needed." See, the clear outs has been talked about for what, like 5 years now, ever since Cristiano left. I haven't seen much of a clear out. Maybe this time it might happen with people like Lucas Vasquez and Nacho leaving. But honestly, from the bottom of my heart, like I wouldn't want them to leave. I know for a fact that anyone we get, we can't be replacing them with these guys, and their selflessness and whatnot. I know it's a big question. How much do these guys add to the team, add to the overall setup? But like going through periods like this, especially Um, if we take major hits with injuries, Nacho and Lucas Vasquez has always been available and able to help us. Maybe not Lucas Vasquez this season, especially with his injury record and whatnot. But Nacho has been really good, man. I don't know what happened to him tonight. Honestly, no idea. Got hooked, rightfully so. Um, got skinned by Kuto. Yeah. Now I wouldn't forget that man. Apparently, he's also on loan from Manchester City. Another slap in your face. All the oil clubs, linking up to actually bring us down. It's fucking funny. It is fucking funny. Yeah, man. Yan Couto had a brilliant game. Just knocked it past Nacho, and then boom, that was that. That was that. Um, yeah. Hassan was saying Chouameni needs to start as the six regularly. I have no idea, man. Honestly, how you get to that conclusion. Chouameni can do bits, but I haven't seen enough from Chouameni to even warrant him a starting, guaranteed starting spot as the six. Honestly, I have not. If you asked me before the World Cup, yeah, like without an iota of doubt, like I would have said, Chouameni definitely has his place, place set in stone. Yeah, friendly reminder as always, almost like 10, 15 of you in the chat. Don't forget to smash the like. And if you haven't subscribed already, do subscribe to the channel. It's on its way to 1K. So yeah, man, love for the love again. Um, lol was saying he has 41. Oh, Vinicius has 41. Yeah, goal contributions. Vinicius has been our sole shining light. Honestly, if you look at the season as a whole from the outside, Vinicius and probably Militao has been the ever present guys. Like who has been like going at it from day one. All the others had phases where they actually kind of stood out. But yeah, man, Vinicius and Militao has been very, very constant and consistent. Just more, it says, I think Rudiger is a system player more than an individualistic one and is finding it hard to fit into the Real Madrid system properly. It's going to take time for him to adjust, or perhaps new management might be able to help him. Yeah, like I'll tell you for a fact, three at the back, Zizou used to try it for a bit, a variation of 3-4-1-2 and whatnot. It can be suitable for maybe like a game or two where you try to match up against your opposition and whatnot. But we have seen far too many times that it is nothing that we associate ourselves with. We don't associate ourselves with three at the back, neither do our players. So it is a 4-3-3 or a variation of 4-3-3 every single day. And yeah, man, like I wouldn't, me, if I was Carlo, no fucking way. For Rudiger alone, if Rudiger was fucking prime Maldini, yeah, we would think about it. If he was, if he was fucking, prime Costa Curta, like Tony Adams, John Terry, those kind of levels of a centre back, we would entertain the idea. But Rudiger, unfortunately, is bang fucking average, man. Bang average. Danielson says, well said, Sunaid. Alaba makes our defense far better, in my opinion. Alaba, Alaba brings so many intangibles into the equation that I just can't roll out on a blank piece of paper. Unfortunately, I'm a mere mortal. Whenever Alaba plays, there is a certain level of composure, a certain level of confidence within the back line that enables them to play with ease. I'll tell you, they don't look worried when Alaba and Militao are playing together. Well, they do look worried, because they are not Sergio Ramos and Varane or Pepe, for instance, but they are not as worried and clueless as they look tonight. I've seen this has been a recurrent theme. Whenever Rudiger comes into play, I'm not slating him. I have nothing against Antonio Rudiger. Yeah. He was a player that I respected. I wanted. I liked the idea of him being a very good addition to our team just like 6, 7, 8 months ago. So I have nothing against the man. I'm not a big tactico. I don't analyze, pressing zones, press triggers, expected, um, expected goals. Like loss of possession, um, aerial zones that we didn't like mark. Shit like that is just goes above my head. Just on the naked eye, whenever I see Rudiger starting, his teammates suffer. Like it is not by design for sure. Nobody is wanting Rudiger to be sticking out like a sore thumb. Yeah, like that is not the intention. But when Rudiger plays, the defense just looks, like completely frozen. It just looks devoid of any confidence. I can't stress this enough. And I hope Carlo, and Davide, like sees it like what we saw. At least I saw. I don't know about you guys. Tell me in the comments if I'm being too harsh on Rudiger, because I like totally accept it. Like if I think it's my bias, because I don't hold anything back. Whatever I see, I feel. I chatted out with you guys, man. Like this has to be a two-way conversation. Rudiger, like where does he go from here? I have no idea. I have no idea. Right. Some of the comments quickly. Hassan was saying that partnership of Rudiger and Militao is too aggressive and front-footed. We need a left-footed centre back, more stylistic to say prime Van Dijk, not rushing or more calmer. Yeah, that is what you get with Alaba. Unfortunately, he has been injured for large parts of the season. We knew many of those guys who were pivotal in a double winning side last year would take a knock, uh, especially with the World Cup. In the equation, we predicted this, man. Like our squad building and the board needs to take the blame. Honestly, like there was a time we had so much dearth in quality that people used to call us the Galacticos. We ain't the Galacticos anymore, man. We are just struggling to make ends meet. Honestly, I just wonder, like, how has this side come to like bare bones in majority of their starting positions? Honestly, Benzema's out. What is the other answer? There is no answer. Shoehorning Rodrigo at centre back. I mean, at centre forward. Um, when there is no recognized right winger, Fede is shoehorned over there. When there is no recognized backup as a left back, Nacho plays there. Kamavinga plays there. So honestly, I'm telling you, so many of the Versa managed sides, the sides that don't make even half the money we make, have better reinforcements, man. And that is just shocking. Honestly, shocking. We can blame oil clubs taking center stage. We can blame inflation. We can blame all of that. You know, um, but we can't just sit and wait for like our season to like dwindle like this to actually wake up. I'm pretty sure like going by this season, when we are gonna struggle to finish second, the board will actually do something about it next summer. I hope they do. Like people like Vallejo, whatever the fuck that guy is called. I had so much hope for him. Get these men out, honestly. Like I would like to see people like him, Ceballos leave before I would ask, Vasquez or Nacho to leave. But that is just me. Right. Hassan with one more comment. He says, to be frank, it's more about when we are getting hit on the counter. So many of Kamavinga need to be there for their athleticism rather than Cruz. Well, see, man, we don't work for La Liga, yeah. Like we don't work for ESPN. We are just fans of our beloved club, right? Like if we can have a legit conversation about why we don't get a system or implement a system where these guys' defensive deficiencies are less found out. I don't know what more we can do, honestly. In big games this season, Valverde has been that anchor even when Cruz drops deep or is struggling to get back defensively, it was Valverde. But you could show when the effort isn't exactly 100% or the motivation isn't exactly 100%. Even with Valverde, that midfield got rinsed tonight. It was a fucking sieve. Like, apart from some neat touches from Modric, who else did anything? Fede had a couple meaningless shots. But apart from that, I can't think of any meaningful contribution these guys made, man. I have no words. I'm just struggling to even keep up with some of the notes that I made because it was written in such anger that unfortunately it ain't so legible. It ain't so legible at this point. Yeah, man, I was pissed off at the first goal. And MLS reject, Castellanos isn't even an elite European talent. Like if even if it was someone in the ilk of Iago Aspas, I wouldn't be so concerned about it. But the very fact that we let a man who is basically not even started his career properly in Europe do this to us, man. Honestly, like big questions needs to be asked. Carlo was saying, like in the post match, I was reading some of the quotes. Like it was very hard to take. Like we'll hopefully learn from this. It is better to lose now than later when gets much more sticky and whatnot. Um, and apparently, no Real Madrid player actually wanted to give a post match. That says everything, man. Like these guys would be having nightmares about this night. Like long until that City game comes around. Um, Regardless of where we're in the league, regardless of what chances we have realistically of getting the league, this is just unbelievable, man. Like honestly, right. Let's go into some of the nitty gritties. Yeah, in the first half. So for the first goal, Carvajal is trying to defend. Fede is trying to defend. Cruz was the guy who was marking Castellanos, and Cruz sees him. He says, "Hi, nice to see you, mate. Um, Catch some coffee later or what?" And then he shrugs it off, walks like nothing happened. Honestly, like if you are in a zone that is supposedly getting attacked or about to be getting attacked, Cruz, who is 35 years old, is he 35, 34? I don't know. Won multiple Champions Leagues, won the World Cup, supremely experienced. How does he let Castellanos, who is going to be the obvious target, he is their focal point, their center forward, their obvious target, just be free. Just be free, man. Like, how does that happen? Cruz is not a defensive midfielder. He doesn't have the defensive IQ to actually defend well. That has been blatantly obvious, all throughout his latter, like stage of his career. But at least people around him, Militao, Nacho, like someone should see that Cruz is kind of letting his man run and be isolated. We should do something to help. But by that time, it's 1-0. So from then we're on the back foot. Honestly, like if it was a 1-0 probably a little bit later into the half, we would have had a bit more fight, a bit more bite about us to actually turn the game. But since it happened so early and we got fucking caught out cold, it just took us a minute to actually, like gather our thoughts. Vinicius was having a couple of his arguments with like Arnau, I think, on the left hand side of Girona, right hand side of Girona. Arguments with the ref, like lucky to not get red carded. I'm not gonna go into all of that. Obviously, like now, I think I'm much more aware to how much shocking the refereeing in La Liga, is actually like you can't really play it Vinny anymore. I don't think, especially from my side. But yeah, Hassan in the chat was saying when Nacho and Militao took each other out in the first half, that just said it all. Honestly, man. See, that's the thing, man. If Alaba is there, I don't think Nacho does that. I don't think Militao does that. Like, does that statement sound like a personal attack? Because when I actually play my own statements back in my head, it feels kind of personal against Rudiger. I apologize to everyone, tuning in and who are going to be listening later on Spotify and whatnot. This is not a personal attack. Honestly, this is just what I think would have played out, man. If it was Alaba, or if it even was a pairing of Nacho, Militao, and Mendy, this would never happen. I'm telling you, this would never happen, man. Um, right. Yeah. Then I wrote the other stuff about Rudiger. He plays them on side as well. He plays, I think, Castellanos on side and then gets attracted to the ball, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what I've written down. So see, yeah, like multiple mistakes, man. Um, like just Mohit was rightly pointing out, Militao is not the purest. He's not the most complete defender in any sense, which I'm going to agree to again. Like without him being perfect in an imperfect setup, they won us the double. So there are reasons why those deficiencies or some lapses in concentration are severely punished when people like Alaba like are not in the squad. It just goes to show. Um, right. And this is another stat. Like Girona had won four of four of the last five games at home, so they were looking to be putting on a show tonight. And the early form this season, 2 wins out of 12, if I'm not mistaken, uh, till November, and then they actually set things right, and they now are in ninth, I guess. So Girona was the side that had like 100% motivation, who had 100% belief in their abilities to actually hurt us on the break tonight, and it showed, man. It showed the lack of effort, the lack of conviction. It completely showed. Right. Oh yeah. Yadu just sent me the poll results. Who are we missing more due to injuries? Mendy at left back or Alaba at centre back? Yeah, people went with Alaba at centre back. I have no doubts, about the outcome of that particular question. Right. Hassan was mentioning when Nacho and Militao took each other out in the first half. Oh, I read that. I read that. My bad. My bad. Right. For the second goal, Militao completely loses flight of the ball. I have no idea what goes through his train of thought. Like he has the speed, he has the physicality, but then he sees his mate Rudiger jogging. Why is he fucking jogging? Why is that the end of a fucking marathon that he was running? Like before he came to play with us. Or I have no idea, man. Honestly, just lack of effort. I just can't defend that. When you're watching, you can scream at the TV, scream at the players all you want. But when you see a man like Rudiger, who's supposed to be helping out Militao, who's struggling, yeah, like let's put that into perspective. He's struggling. He missed just the flight of the ball, and then he's struggling so much that Castellanos even manages to take that brilliant second touch, which makes all the difference for the goal. Which sets up nicely, enables him to like finish the shot. He should never take that second touch. There should be Rudiger breathing down this guy's neck to ensure that he has no composure, no leeway to actually take the second touch. So I have no idea, man. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. Whenever we have seen Rudiger actually have good games with us or average games with us, it is because, I repeat, it is because our other center backs or other components in our defense has been playing out of their skin. We need to do so much covering for Rudiger for him to be normal, for him to be just average. That is just shocking. Absolutely shocking. Yeah, then I had actually noted it down. Siagankov, the brilliant Ukrainian who was, like once touted to be the next big thing, he almost made it 3-0. He almost made it 3-0. I think that is the chance that is the occasion where, like Nacho and Militao ran into each other. We were just lucky it wasn't 3-0 already. Then right after that, Fede, like trying for a switch of play, ends up in a fucking throw in. So that night, whatever was unfolding before our eyes, we knew it wasn't us, man. Like we had no sense of identity, honestly. Like our players looked out of their depth. Like I can't even seem to imagine how shocked, like people would have been on the bench, especially, watching someone like Fede trying to switch a ball and he can do it. He can't do it, man. Simple switch of play. Asensio, in my opinion, even though he was missing for large parts of the game, that is the money ball, man. That is one of the most difficult lobs to actually pull off because it has to be heighted perfectly, weighted perfectly, and it was both. Rodrigo was offside, I guess, but Vinicius, like a proper poacher, was at the back post, sneaks it in, good finish. Yeah, like couldn't ask from Vinicius anything else, man. Like he tried his best. Was literally a one man, like wrecking machine tried to rainbow flick their wing back. I guess I remember. Um, it should have been a foul, like stuff like that. Honestly, it just makes my head wobble. Um, right. Yeah, the Koto chance again, right at the 45th minute mark. Rudiger again, clueless, clueless. Koto could have actually made it 3-0 there and then itself. Then we go into the first half. I mean, we go into the dressing room at halftime, looking to actually gather our thoughts. You know, be a little more composed, avoid all those mistakes in the first half, and actually look to regain some confidence back. Yeah, because it was 2-0 and out, but then we scored a goal and it looked like it gave us a lift. And I was fairly confident that, like we would be definitely making a comeback in the second half. But then what I saw wasn't what I wanted to happen. Honestly, like I can't imagine what would have gone through Carlo's mind, um, especially the way we started and the way we conceded. The third goal, in my opinion, was the nail in the coffin, man. Start slow again, lethargic again, useless possession, 75% possession for what? Honestly, I don't understand. For what? Yeah, we can recycle the ball well, but for what really? I don't get it. Is it to showcase your sombrero skills? I don't know. I just don't know. Was that an ad of, like one of the Nike or new Adidas launches of their new boots? I just couldn't wrap my head around it, man. Meaningless passes, all around. Um, yeah, the next bit, Militao, he tried to make a back pass. I've written it down in caps. He tried to make a back pass that couldn't find Rudiger. It was a good 5 yards behind Rudiger. That just sums it up, man. That just sums it up. That's the thing. Like if Militao is getting slated today, we all know, like without even looking at the scoreboard, it was a terrible night. Because if Militao has a bad night, the team has no chance, man. No chance. Um, yeah, then the fourth goal happened. Again from their right hand side. Um, Nacho was subbed out for Kamavinga. Kamavinga tried his best, not a natural left back. Tried his best against Kuto, who had the number on everyone. I think, like apart from maybe um, Fede a couple of times, trying to like shun him off. Jan Kuto was the guy. Like I think he should be getting more flowers than Castellanos because he was causing us all sorts of problems. And the cross, I'm not sure if it was from Jan Kuto itself, but the cross actually took a deflection of Carvajal because once the ball went in, right, without seeing the replay, I was screaming at the screen, screaming at Lunin, why the fuck are you staying on the line? Come out, come gather the ball. Like, don't wait for the ball to be in a half space where you can't really judge what's going to happen, right? Because it's a split-second decision. He hasn't played in how long? He's a backup to probably the best goalkeeper in the world. He knows that his time would never come, essentially. But the very fact that he just looked cold on multiple goals this season is going to be such a bad look on his resume, man. Like, regardless of if he stays or leaves, Lunin is our guy at this moment, and he has been with us like for what, like 3 years now. So he should be considered one of our own. And I don't want to wish anyone of us who is actually like going for pastures new anything bad. Like, I want him to actually earn a deal that would suffice him, would where there would be respect for Lunin because he's a great shot stopper, he's a great goalkeeper. Unfortunately, for the fourth goal, he should have done better. He should have come blazing in, collected the ball, and maybe took the man out. Like, leave it to VAR. Like, do something, man. Yeah, so fucking timid, bro. So fucking timid. Honestly. Militao again, bystander. Couldn't be asked. He knew it was probably game over by then. Carvajal did the similar thing on many occasions, but at least he got to the end of one of those brilliant crosses and cleared it out. But yeah, man, no words. Dennis was saying, "Oh my God, when is Mendy going to be vaccinated? We need him against City, or we are getting beaten by City." That's the thing. People were hyping so much about Kamavinga playing at left back, but I've been telling people, and we have also been concerned slightly regarding Kamavinga's defensive prowess. You know, like he's not exactly a qualified defender at left back. He can be a good six if he wants to be because he has a knack of winning the ball back. But against a seasoned winger, he'll struggle. You know, there is enough evidence to point that out. He is a very mature guy, you know, who has improved leaps and bounds from last year. But against City, it'll be a tremendous test of his credentials. And if it goes south, I can't imagine how he'll recover from it because it'll be a big blow, man. So it's all up to Carlo and the boys to actually decide. I wouldn't be personally um, looking to play Kamavinga left back if we have the option. Nacho again. Yes, he had a bad game tonight, but please pay attention. If Alaba is back and Militao is back, Nacho will play a normal game. We remember Nacho against Salah. He was incognito the whole fucking 180 minutes or something, apart from maybe like two chances he got. Nacho had his number, man. So I've faith in Nacho being a left back, but Kamavinga too early, especially for a semi final against City. Yeah, like especially if we let the aggregate scoreline go south in the first leg, it'll be an insurmountable task, you know, away at the Etihad. I just can't bring myself to be in that situation even before we get to the second leg. Um, right? Yeah, could have been four, could have been five. Girona, fucking Olays, their crowd being treated to some expansive, lavish, centric stuff. Imagine, man, 12th placed, 10th placed Girona fucking Olaying, at their home stadium against us. Honestly, you just have to actually like believe that this all might be a nightmare that's happening, and probably when you wake up it's all going away. But no, man, it didn't go away. It's not going to go away. It is going to be a blemish, just like last season when we lifted the double and there was still the 4-0 classical loss staring right in our faces. It'll be similar this year. Although it's not a Clasico, it's even more embarrassing. It's fucking Girona, man. It's Barcelona light. They're supposedly, not even as good as Espanyol. They're down in Catalonia. So yeah, no words. Honestly, no words. Um, yeah. Castellanos was the first non-Spanish player since 1947. Since 1947. He's the first player since 1947 to score, but score 4 goals. But he's the first non-Spanish player in history to score 4 goals against us. It's a mad stat. Castellanos would be going back to his family and having a fucking barbecue party at this moment in time, man. Yeah, absolutely shambolic. I've no words to even describe the extent of the battering that we got tonight. Right. Then yeah, that's the other thing, that I've written in caps: lack of fucks. Yeah, unfortunately, lack of fucks is my takeaway, for the final 30 minutes. Vinicius is again driving down alone, left hand side, creates the fucking goal all on his own. Lucas Vasquez gets a tap in, 4-2. We might think, yeah, like this might provoke a comeback, but we have seen way too much about our side to know, especially this season. Those vintage Real Madrid comebacks, they don't happen much often this year. On out of the top of my head, maybe I can think of the Villarreal Copa del Rey quarterfinal. But apart from that, there hasn't been a game that where we have looked on the back foot completely outplayed, we find some energy from our reserves and do something. That used to be the case. That used to be the team that we used to love so much. Yeah, like the team that never gives up, the team that shows um, so much passion um, and belief in themselves to actually do the unthinkable. But I think probably the fact that La Liga is out of their reach, and the bigger fish to fry thing maybe comes into play in our players' psyche. But still, unacceptable. Like people like Ramos, like they'll be fucking cringing, man, watching all that. Um, the amount of times that I've seen those great guys, like claw us back from points where we thought nothing was possible, and to this, where the team just doesn't show a backbone. Had enough, man. Honestly, had enough. I've had way too many lows this season for my liking. Like many of you in the chat, I would share the same sentiment. We are not fucking Arsenal. We are not fucking West Ham. We are not Betis. We are not Sociedad. We are not Bilbao. We are fucking Real Madrid. Yeah, Royal Madrid. And we don't take such things lightly. We can't be taking these defeats on the chin. People would be spewing all sorts of propaganda. Um, and the one man I can't blame tonight is Carlo. I'm not gonna blame him. That's my final point that I would like to address. Carlo, for me, is devoid of blame. He tried his best. He did his best. He saw our midfield getting outrun, outclassed. He pulled off Modric. He saw Nacho having a hard time, pulled him off, put in Kamavinga. Um, he gave Asensio the starting role again, rewarded him with faith for some neat performances in the past couple of weeks. But still, yeah, like I wouldn't blame Carlo one bit. It's the players, man. Honestly, when the scoreline gets as ridiculous as it did tonight, the blame can't be on the coach. Honestly, like, do you guys really think that Carlo gets to the boys at halftime and tells them, you know what, it's been rosy, more of the same, more of the same, more of the same? He wouldn't do that. He would have told them right in their faces. I noticed you. They were out um, earlier than the Girona players. They were like out maybe like a good 2 minutes before kickoff. So that tells me it wasn't the usual Carlo, chewing his gum, um, leisure talk. He would have been actually fucking pissed seeing what was happening, even in the first half itself. So for then the team to completely capitulate, like maybe 30, 60, 90 odd seconds from kickoff at the beginning of the second half, that just goes to show you, man, there's only so much the coaching staff or the managers can do when your hands are tied, especially in terms of reinforcements. I don't understand what is he supposed to be doing. Um, a player like Dennis said earlier, apart from Vinicius, I don't think anybody can walk away from this game with a sense of pride. With the sense that they left everything on the pitch because the effort just wasn't there, man. I'll accept losing. I am a sore loser, like many of us here are. Like if you're a Real Madrid fan, you're definitely a sore loser. That just comes with the territory, right? But I can accept defeat. I've seen some mad defeats in my lifetime as a Madridista. But nights like tonight, question why even bother watching? Why do we give our time up to these men who doesn't give a fuck? Yes, the La Liga season is over. Yes, you can question La Liga's legitimacy as a competition. But when you're out there on the pitch and you're tasked with defending this holy crest, I expect so fucking much more, man. So much more. So much more. I can't stress this enough. Honestly, I can't stress this enough. If this attitude is shown again, I'm telling you, I would be calling for all these man's heads. Like, I'm not gonna do that because this hasn't been a thing under Carlo. I haven't seen this since God knows how long. Honestly, I can't even remember a performance where our players looked least bothered like tonight. Honestly, I can't remember one. So yeah, I'm gonna give them some slack. Maybe call this as a one-off. We had a battering, in the Spanish Super Cup against Barcelona. We lost comically in the first leg. We lost um, the second Clásico where the Nou Camp, the La Liga Clásico as well. We lost to Vallecano. We lost to Mallorca. But in all those games, there was I'll tell you, there was at least two times, three times the effort that was on show tonight. So that just can't float, man. Honestly, we need to make sure that this doesn't happen again. The team needs to have a good hard look in the mirror and just ask themselves, if you don't have the motivation to actually do something about the distress you're in, like it's all about game management. Yeah, like you can go a goal down, you can go two goals down, you can be even 4-1 down, but it is the way you manage the game, which unfortunately our players wasn't able to do, man. um Quickly, some comments before I fucking wrap this up. Honestly, I have no energy to talk about our performance, man. I'm just like stunned into silence. Dennis the Great was saying, "No, Sunil, I don't like Nacho as a left back, bro. Grealish would cook him." Let me tell you something. We underestimate Nacho, right? He can have a bad game. You never know, right? Like, he is human. He's not perfect. He's not the greatest defender we have in our squad, even. But when the occasion is right and when the stakes are the highest, I've seen Nacho not bottle it, not want to jinx it, touch wood, all of that. Nacho is a guy who I can trust. And unfortunately, Kamavinga is not in a period in his career where I can, like blindly put my money on him to actually have a great game. And we might be even losing out on some dynamic reinforcements in the second half, because we can't forget how well people like Kamavinga did last year, when called upon from the bench. So if things go south, we need solid, efficient plan Bs. So I hope, like, even like, see, like Rodrigo is not in the plan B anymore. He's sort of like part of the plan A. So keeping Kamavinga and Ceballos as the plan B can be an option that might help us. I'm no fortune teller, but that is just what my gut tells me at this moment in time. What is the date today? It's, I think, April the 25th. There is still a good 2 weeks to go. This should be a wake up call at the right time. That is one thing I would like to agree with Carlo from the post match comments, that he said a loss at this time is better than a loss, like 1 week away or 2 weeks away. This should jolt them back into reality and really make them retrospect about where they stand in the season, how it was last season, right? How heroic and how magical last season was. If it doesn't go to plan these last 6 to 8 weeks, the people are going to be sharpening their knives, man. um People including me, because we don't take losses lightly. We don't take silly seasons lightly either. So um we don't dwell on the past. We are not a club that never, we are not a club that relies on the past to basically make a statement. We live in the now, and we expect the players to live in the now and fight for the now. And the players didn't fight for the now, man, tonight. They didn't fight for the now. They should be all taking cabs to the hotel. Nobody should be boarding the team bus. Honestly, they don't deserve to. Maybe apart from Vinny, he should be probably given an Uber extra. One of the elite Uber rides home. The only man who can, like who should be given that sort of treatment. Ricardo is back. Nice to see again, Ricardo. He says, put Vinny in that City team and he'll turn into a god. Best player on the planet for me. Yeah. Um, a best player on the planet. I'll reserve that sentiment until after the season ends. Because there is still a bit of football to be played. Some titles to be won. Hopefully, let's see how Vinicius does these last few weeks, because he'll need to round this off with two very particular bits of silverware to be named the best in the world. Until then, no, no. We have to win Copa more than ever now. Still can't believe and nobody put four past us. I wouldn't blame Carlo too. Yeah, Girona aren't exactly nobodies, but there are somebody now. There are somebody down to some good money being injected. Part of being the city, um, uh, part of being owned by the Manchester City. It comes with good loan deals and whatnot, better training setup, coaching setup. Girona has taken full advantage, man. And again, I would like to stress this out. Like these players, they shouldn't be made to forget what happened tonight. They should be looking at the head-to-head stats, Real Madrid against Girona all time, and looking at the very fact that Girona has more wins than us. They should be doing something about that. Next season. That's my only like prayer for tonight. Yeah, again, massive love for all of you guys who were in the chat with me. Unfortunately, there was no Jacob or Doris or Yadu. It was just me. I had to do it because um, Jacob apparently was supposed to be on, but he had some network issues, so he couldn't make it. But I made it a point that this should happen because we can't be hiding when we are getting hammered. We should be actually showing face to actually, let the team know that this isn't the way that we are supposed to be operating. Honestly, from an institutional perspective, from a perspective of representing, the biggest, the best, the most successful club in the world, this is not acceptable, man. We should be doing much better, much better. Um, Also, shout out to our fans, our audience, our listeners, our family from all over our audio platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and whatnot. Keep doing your thing. If you have stuff that you want to let us know about, shoot us the DM on our Instagram, reach us on our Twitter. Um, yeah, man, like make this a two-way conversation because we would love to hear from you and love to hear your thoughts on, what we can do to improve, what we can do to make it a little more connected with you guys. Because we have a fair few guys asking how can we get involved in the conversation, and the only thing that I can tell them at this moment in time is just be here on our post matches, watch alongs, previews, and whatnot. Engage in the comments. That is for now. Hopefully, once we are a little bit bigger, there'll be better ways to kind of interact and engage and whatnot. Yeah, I hope the season ends well, man. There is a massive chance for big stuff to be accomplished. There's a massive chance for doing something absolutely historical. I've mentioned this so many times. Winning the three-peat under Zidane, under that BBC, Cruz, Modric, Casemiro in their prime, Ramos, Varane, Pepe, all those guys, Marcelo, Carvajal, it'll have an asterisk, underneath saying that we had prime Cristiano, prime Gareth Bale. You know, if we win it now and we repeat the back-to-back Champions Leagues again, the footnote would be Carlo did the unthinkable. Carlo did it without Cristiano. Carlo did it with a 35-year-old Benzema as the focal point, with a 22, 23-year-old Vinicius Jr. So I'm telling you, but like I needn't stress the magnitude of what it would mean for us to Europe, for us lifting the big years, man. It should, inshallah, be back rightfully, to its rightful owner this season. That's my only thing. Copa del Rey alone, no chance. No fucking ole ole campeones for Copa del Rey. It'll be the most mildest post title match reaction that you might see from me personally. I don't know about others. Farouk might celebrate it more than the Champions League last year, but that's an inside joke. Um, but yeah, the Champions League is what is going to define how the season pans out. But again, man, Yadu, if you're listening, we can wrap this up in like a minute. I'm just gonna text him end it in a minute. Right. Show some love to our partners on Instagram, Real Madrid Committee. They're on a brilliant fan page on Instagram. Link is in the description below. Yeah, shout out to all you guys, man, for showing up. It's been an absolute pleasure, like all throughout us doing, this podcast, man. Like you guys make it what we are. Right. I guess that's pretty much it. See you guys on the next one. Ala Madrid.